Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you for holding the first meeting of the Conference Committee to reconcile the differences between the financial regulatory reform bills H.R. 4173 and Senate Bill 3217. This is a very critical point, I think, for every individual American and to every American business and to our economy and economic recovery. In March, Chairman Frank demonstrated a desire to have a very open and transparent conference. It is my hope that all proceedings of this conference are in the open and not behind closed doors. After all, we are embarking on the final step of the largest overhaul financial system this body has ever taken on. The least we can do is to ensure the American people are able to follow our actions as closely as possible. Last summer, I joined my Republican colleagues in the House Financial Services Committee in offering what we still believe to be a common-sense financial regulatory reform, the centerpiece being a new chapter of bankruptcy to resolve failing institutions. Our goal for our constituents was then, as it is now, to end the culture of bailouts that has pervaded Washington over the last 2 years. The American people are tired of reading about the ongoing bailouts, and they want action. The time has come to put Wall Street and Main Street on a level playing field where all participants know the rules of the game, and that is what an enhanced bankruptcy will accomplish. This makes sense because it will build a key barrier of court objectivity on these issues that the complicated issues that have to be resolved. Oftentimes, my Democrat colleagues will cite the panic that ensued over the collapse of Lehman Brothers as a reason not to support bankruptcy. However, I will remind them that the panic was caused by the failed expectation of a government bailout, not the actual bankruptcy. Furthermore, a new chapter of bankruptcy would be a more open and transparent process than the proposals in the House and Senate bill. Bankruptcy code rules are more detailed, developed, and well-known than the improvisation and acting on the fly that I believe will come with the House and Senate proposals. It's a simple choice. Do we want our courts to handle these cases where the public can follow proceedings, or do we want to perpetuate the culture of cutting deals behind closed doors over the weekend with serious consequences for the American people? Some will say their version of the Resolution Authority Fund is an improvement over the past. But the authorities conferred upon the FDIC by the House and Senate bill are the same tools that were used to orchestrate the bailouts of Citigroup, Bank of America, Chrysler, GM, and rescue the creditors of Bear Stearns, AIG, and Fannie and Freddie. These include making loans to and purchasing the debt obligations of the company, purchasing assets of the company, assuming or guaranteeing the company debt, taking liens on the assets of the company, and selling or transferring the company's assets. There is also a matter of perpetuating taxpayer bailouts. The House bill has a $150 billion bailout fund, and the Senate bill allows the FDIC to borrow money to wind down these institutions. Who will ultimately pay for these mechanisms? The taxpayer. Enough is enough. Mr. Chairman, we can do better by creating an enhanced chapter of the Bankruptcy Code. As the Resolution Authority, we can prevent future bailouts and ensure greater transparency in the winding down of these complex institutions. I do also have concerns about the lack of attention paid to the reform of the government-sponsored enterprises Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac. These two entities were at the heart of the financial crisis, yet neither the House nor Senate bill includes any reforms of these two mortgage finance giants. As we know, in the conservatorship that these two are under right now, we have $145 billion of taxpayer dollars already at stake. The time has come for substantive reform of the GSEs. We cannot have truly financial regulatory reform and leave these two entities on the side. We still have plenty of time. And I believe, certainly on our side, we have the will to tackle the enormous exposure to the taxpayer of Fannie and Freddie. I am concerned about the far-reaching consequences of this bill and the uncertainty in the economy, struggling of small businesses and community banks, making it harder for small business to save, invest, and most importantly, hire. I look forward to an open and transparent conference and the type of financial reform that will hold Wall Street accountable and permits Main Street to thrive.